Was flag football, and even now, and probably more so now, but was flag football like a really big part of like your life and how you eat at the time, as far as like your income and how you provide for your family and yourself? No,
Never.
never.
Flag football
Okay,
has never. If even today, if I was to walk away and never do flag football again, it would have, I would say, zero effect, because it will have some effect, obviously, because it's so entrenched in it. But financially, it wouldn't do anything for me. I'm just being
so
honest.
so so I got another burning question then. So what are you in it for then?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, and people ask that's a question I get a lot. So I love football. Like I said, I've been playing since I was 5. I want to say 5. I'll just say 6 because that's probably the right number. But I just love football, and the fact that I'm a business person. I've always wanted to run my own business, and not to say that, just because it's not making hundreds of thousands of dollars for me in my pockets doesn't mean it doesn't show me how to run a business or how to do different things that's going to be successful for me later on in life.
Good gym, good gym.
And people don't look at it that way, but this is so much stuff. A2 has taught me, CBL has taught me, even ITZ taught me that is invaluable, and you can't learn just by studying in a book or anything else. It's something that it teaches me discipline. It's a lot of discipline that's involved in it, because people don't realize what has to be done. I mean, I'm gonna be open this book up that people don't even know. During COVID, I wrote the blueprint of A2. So when somebody wants to go to um to another city and say, "Hey, I want to open up an A2," I I got it right here for you and say, here's this. This is what it costs you to have this. You could run A2 just like I run. Almost down to putting your name in there, D son. If you registering you on your team that you're playing on, it's all the details are in there, written out in hand, ready to be franchised.
And thank you, because you lead me into something else, which is the main topic of the show: entrepreneurship in sports. How did you take your love for football in general, infuse it with your love for business? You said you're a natural businessman. That's what you like to do. You want to do your own thing. You want to be your own boss. I want you to talk to me about entrepreneurship in sports, and how you was able to even get to this point. Because I know, obviously, we can say now successfully, right? Regardless of if CBL is around or not, with the ascension of A2 and with your success with CBL, you successfully spearheaded 2 leagues.
Right? Correct.
So and then we're not this is just co-ed. We're not even
Right.
talking about like your women's league division
Mm-hmm.
and the other divisions that you have, the other formats of flag football that you
Right.
have, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I want you to talk to me about your path, your goal. You just said you had a roadmap. Like, talk to me about that.
So so my thoughts when we originally sat down, like it's funny is, I don't know if you know this, D son, but I'm a historian. Like, I like to keep shit for no reason. So like I have
Okay.
like a CBL book from like the first meeting we had. Like
That's dope as hell, though.
I keep
That's
stuff.
why you know all these records. When people
Oh,
ask you, you go
oh,
back.
oh, we'll get to that later. We're gonna make sure you remind me of the records again at
I
the
got,
end.
I got you.
So I wanted to take something that I seen, and I'm like, wait a minute, if this many people is playing this without no marketing, without anything, we could grow this to other cities. So our original goal was to go to other cities. We never got to there in CBL. It just didn't work out. The business model didn't work out how we expected it to. It wasn't a lot of money in it. So you really can't go to another city without having people in those other cities. So I was like, okay, well, how do I turn what I see out here with, even back in ITZ days, 200, 300, 400, 500 people on a Sunday black people at a field behaving, not doing Chicago shit.
Behaving.
I'm like, wait, this could be easily turned into something that could be profitable or beneficial for
Hold on,
everyone.
Joy. One time for y'all, because for years, I can probably count 2 or 3 times where it was an incident ever at the
Yeah,
field.
ever.
Like,
I
ever.
shout out to everybody. Now, if people don't understand, I really appreciate that, because to say you had something, I'm gonna be honest and say I know for a fact I've only called the police 2 times in 10 years. And if that happens, I'm the first person that's gonna
Shit went
protect my
left.
business. I'm gonna protect my business.
Right.
So if there's some shit going down, the police gonna be called.
Absolutely.
I'm that dude. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
call them. But we never really get to that point. So I say 3 times. I forgot about the other incident. But 3 times in 10 years for Chicago in the summer with the number of people, it's amazing to me that we don't get in more trouble. But all of that to flip it to say, all these things taught me about entrepreneurship. All this stuff is what helped build me today to learn the stuff that I'm trying to do outside of flag football. Because there's other things, obviously, that I want to do besides flag football that this stuff taught me those things to help me and, put me on a level where I can understand how to make those things work.
And I think that's a good segue into obviously where you are now, right? So you got all these years of experience running your own league in Chicago. And now you are the executive director for not just a city or regional body, but a national body with the United Flag Football League. How did that even come about? How does one suddenly look up and they with the UFFL? Like, how the hell does that even happen?
I'm gonna be honest and say I can't tell you how it happened because I wasn't expecting, kind of like you were talking about earlier, how something just falls in your lap. It was something. So I'm gonna rewind it. Probably this was maybe 2016, 17. I had met a guy from Virginia. Me and him had talked. We started talking about starting our own national league. We talked every other Sunday night.
Your own national league?
Yeah, we started this. This was before. This is some history. I told you I'm a history buff.
So right.
2016. We was on that then. We was saying let's start this league. Let's get it going. We had, and it's funny because out of those 5 people that was on those phone calls every week, 4 of them are part of the UFFL right now. So that was like the.
Did the other one go to the other joint? Or?
No, the other one they just
okay.
Like that. So we as we were building it and as we going and we talking and everything coming together, we just couldn't figure out how to get over the hump. Not gonna lie, money was the issue. It takes money to run a national league, a national governing body. So we didn't have that, and we weren't. I wasn't thinking on that level at the time. At that time, I was like, man, I just got up with some guys from DC and Virginia. I'm just trying to be nationally known. This is when I first started coming to the national scene. So it wasn't a big deal to me. I'm like, we just talking. Well, fast forward, it didn't end up turning into something. Fast forward to October, what is that, 2019, 2020, one of those years. My guy hits me like, man, you interested in still doing some national stuff? I'm part of the UFFL. Now, we had actually met with the UFFL. We weren't feeling some stuff they were saying back in 2017. So whatever. But they talked to me. Let me listen and see what happened. Listen, jumped on the team, and the rest is history. It just turned into literally I was on again, me being a problem solver. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sitting on a phone call. It's 10 or 12 of us on a UFFL call. I'm the new man on the phone call. I ain't got shit to say. I'm just listening. So we get to talking. They start talking about the schedule. The person that was in charge of doing the schedule was like, I need some help. Nobody wanted to volunteer. I'm like, well, I do a schedule for 30 or 40 teams every week. Yeah, schedule ain't shit. Like, come on, I can help out. And
every week.
and that turned into me helping out with the schedule, turned into me being, first I was the co-ed director at the time. Then that turned into, then I went into the back office, and now I'm on the leadership team doing every goddamn thing, if you ask me.
But that's crazy to me though, because because you're saying like right place, right time, right? But we're not talking about like a regular position. Like, no. I'm like, I don't know, fucking secretary or I do the typewriting or something. We talk about the executive director. First of all, what is the executive director?
Well, here, I'm going to give you an update. I'm going to give you an update.
Flag Football League.
So I'm actually the executive director of finance and operations now.
Talk your shit.
So it did improve a little bit. But
crazy.
As your boy Chuck said, my price went up.
Your price went up. Shout out to Custom Chuck, man. They out here doing this thing. Go ahead, though.
So now it
You good, Joe?
we do a lot. Like, I mean, we talk all the time. Like, we basically have conversations. We're building nationals, we're building the circuit, we're building points, we're figuring out rule changes, we're talking to sponsors, all that good stuff. All that comes together with the leadership team. It's like it's 5 of us that's on there, and we just talk about different things and how we can make everything better and improve, and what we're gonna do to help it. Like, we already know, it's competition in that too. There's 2 leagues in that, so every year we're trying to figure out how we could be better than our competitors, or how we can improve things to make us, put us in a better spot.
As somebody who who went to UFFL this year, um, and somebody who I'm not really big on the national like scene as far as like the guys who've been playing this shit like everywhere, the guys and gals who've been playing it like everywhere, and they kind of know everybody, and they know the rule changes, format changes, and all that shit. They know amenities and all of that stuff. So what come with great power comes great responsibility, right? And I'm in these groups, and they always say like, and they talk about how this could have been different, or how that could have been different, or you could have did this better, you could have done that pepper. Can you explain to those type of people like how hard it is to put on a national tournament? Because to some extent, to me, I feel like, and I know a lot of people would say like, well, they know the job, they took the job, right? But it ain't always that simple, right? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of work goes into doing what you do. That shit ain't easy. Like, what would you say to those type of people?
And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to not this past year. I'm gonna go back to the year before that. So that was our first nationals that we threw as a league, and the amount of work, and people don't believe me. I think I have some witnesses that was on the plane with me. I literally got up. I woke up at Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock. My flight left Wednesday at 9 a.m. I did not go to sleep until I got on that flight at 9 a.m. And then when I got there, I didn't get any sleep while I was in Florida. I told people, and they thought I was joking. I probably got 10 hours of sleep that whole weekend.
The whole weekend?
The whole weekend. And that's Wednesday. I got there Wednesday, and 2 of those hours was on the flight. So it really wasn't a lot of sleep. I mean, it was nights. I remember that first night, I went to bed at 4 o'clock. I was up at 6:30 because we were working on the schedule still. So it's stuff that goes on. But what I would say to people is it's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know. And it's a lot of things that we do to benefit everybody. I know some teams complain, well, this and that, and my times conflict, and it wasn't supposed to conflict, and blah, blah, blah. But it's so many things that we have to satisfy for everybody that we can't necessarily isolate one team and say we're gonna make this right for you, because it might not make it right for 30 other teams, just because we want to make it right for one. So it's a lot of stuff that people just don't understand, and it comes with the territory. The crown that you wear is heavy, so you have to understand that those things are going to come with it. They're going to come with it. You're going to get complaints. Nobody is ever, if every team told me they went to nationals and said they were happy, I would be utterly surprised, because nobody will ever always be